One of the issues that I have been concerned over for many, many, many years is that in Gibraltar there are constantly rumours about corrupt practices. And there is never anybody who is prepared to actually provide the evidence to support the statements. They remain malicious and very negative rumours. And look, in any society, undoubtedly there is an element of corruption, but it is also terribly destructive to have constant rumours about people being corrupt and names being bandied about, situations being bandied about, and there's really no method by which those rumours can be properly looked at, can be dispelled, and the people can be told, look, can we stop discussing these issues because they're simply not true. So I don't think that what happens in Gibraltar is any different from what happens in any small territory or small society, and I think it is excusable in that sense, but I don't think it's excusable that we shouldn't have any system by which these issues can be looked at, can be investigated, and can be dispelled, or if they turn out to be true, that action in order to prevent them, continue and prohibit them, should be taken. So my view is that, and it's not an idea that is new to me, it's been in existence in Hong Kong since 1975, is that we should have an independent anti-corruption authority, and that anti-corruption authority would simply, either of its own volition or its own motion, or by reason of any complaints, or by reason of anything that came to its attention, would have full powers to investigate, look into things, and report back on the veracity or mendacity of any allegation of corruption. And I think over a period of time, if that sort of authority existed, the negative and malicious nature of the rumours and the destructive nature of the rumours would slowly be dispelled, and slowly we would get to a situation of truth. We would get to a situation where, if there is any corruption, it will be dealt with and disposed of in the way that it should be. And I don't understand, or nor do I see that anybody could seriously take any objection to that suggestion. To date, the suggestion has been publicised, but at the end of the day, the reaction on my blog has been terribly positive, but the reaction from the established political parties and established politicians in Gibraltar has been that there's been silence, and I regret that to a degree, because it just indicates to me that there is not a fervent desire to improve the issue of good governance in Gibraltar. And by saying that, I don't make any insinuation that there is corruption. What I'm saying is, if there isn't, let's do it, and if there is, there's more reason to do it. And really, nobody in my mind can seriously object to a suggestion of that nature. Another aspect that has concerned me is the issue of civil rights. It seems odd that in a Western democracy one should talk of civil rights, and generally speaking, in Gibraltar there is, it has an advanced society, there are civil rights, but there are situations where, because of the size and probably conservative thinking that exists in Gibraltar, that we're not in a place where other European countries are. One example is that we have recently had a court case taken on constitutional grounds to equalise the age of consent between heterosexual and homosexual and lesbian couples. The European Court of Human Rights and the European Court of Justice has already held that that is part of the European Convention of Human Rights. The European Convention of Human Rights, in the majority, the great majority now under the 2000 Constitution, is part of our Constitution, part of our laws. So it should be, there's a requirement to adhere to that as a matter of law. There's a requirement for the legislature to adhere to that, and for the government to adhere to that. Now, that somebody needs to go to the expense of taking the matter to a court of law in order to determine their rights is what the Constitution provides. But I think that at a legislative level there is absolutely no reason why we shouldn't introduce a cheaper and faster system where people's fundamental rights, as contained in the Constitution, can be upheld. And one way to do this, and the way I suggest, is to have a Commission of Fundamental Rights, or a Commission of Fundamental Rights, who would give an initial opinion on any particular issue. And if that opinion was not followed by government, then the Commissioner would take the case to the Supreme Court of Gibraltar at the cost of government, not at the cost of the individual affected person, and have a finding in favour or against that particular point. But if we have institutionalised in our Constitution the European Convention of Human Rights, and in all fairness, it was already there in the 1968 Constitution with some minor, greater exceptions or non-inclusions, then we must allow the people, or the voters, or the residents of Gibraltar, to have a cheap and accessible method of ensuring that their rights are maintained.